Welcome back to English Unfiltered, the podcast where we explore real conversations in English. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie. And today we're diving into this incredibly frustrating reality that, well, you've probably experienced firsthand if you're learning English.
Oh, definitely. Picture this, right? You're in the middle of a conversation with a native English speaker. Your grammar is technically flawless. You've nailed the vocabulary.
Right.
Yet you feel completely exhausted and hesitant. Meanwhile, they look totally relaxed, even though they just completely butchered a sentence structure.
It's the ultimate irony, really. I mean, as a learner, you're taught to view native speakers as these walking grammar rule books.
Yep, which they aren't at all.
Exactly. If you actually look at a transcript of natural native speech, it's total chaos. It's full of restarts, filler words, vague ideas, and just, glaring grammatical errors.
But wait, if native speech is genuinely that messy, how do they get away with it? I mean, if I make those same grammatical errors as a learner, doesn't the listener just assume I'm uneducated?
Well, not if the rhythm is maintained. The human brain actually prioritizes the flow of communication over technical accuracy. Native speakers stay completely relaxed because they're playing a totally different game.
A different game?
Yeah, they prioritize getting their point across, not passing a spoken grammar test.
Oh, I love that. It's almost like playing jazz music. You're improvising, maybe you hit a wrong note, but because you don't break the rhythm or freeze up, the audience just assumes that wrong note was part of the melody.
Spot on. That rhythm is everything. And the problem happens when the rhythm breaks, which really brings us to what's actually happening inside a learner's brain.
Right, because there is so much going on in there.
So much. It basically comes down to cognitive load and working memory. Native speakers aren't allocating any working memory to self-monitoring their grammar in real time.
While a learner is devoting, 80 or 90% of their brain power to mental translation, just searching for the right vocabulary, checking verb tenses before the words even leave their mouth.
Exactly. And when you use all your cognitive bandwidth on that kind of intense self-correction, you have zero working memory left over for emotional expression, intonation, or rhythm.
Wow. So the physical result is hesitation, stuttering, and nervous energy.
Right, because the brain is just overloaded.
I'm still stuck on this, though. Isn't that internal self-correction necessary? If I don't mentally review my grammar before I speak, won't I just sound foolish?
Well, that's the self-monitoring trap right there. Is it possible that this constant, exhausting internal self-correction actually damages your fluency much more than a simple grammar mistake ever would?
Oh, wow. I never thought about it like that.
Yeah, because the hesitation caused by that exhausting internal filter damages your perceived fluency far more than, say, a dropped preposition. When you pause awkwardly for 3 seconds to search for the perfect word, you project insecurity.
But if you just kept speaking, even with a flawed sentence structure, you'd project confidence. So the intense mental exhaustion learners feel after speaking English isn't just about lacking vocabulary. It's the sheer psychological weight of treating every single sentence like a high-stakes performance.
It's deeply psychological, yeah. It all relates to your emotional tolerance for mistakes. Native speakers grew up using the language socially, so they learned early on that a linguistic mistake is not a social threat.
Right. But for someone learning the language, a mistake feels deeply personal. It triggers this fear of judgment. You're hyper-focused on avoiding embarrassment instead of actually participating in the human connection.
Which is exactly why you have to actively shift from a performance mindset to a communication mindset. True fluency requires emotional flexibility, not technical perfection.
Which means you just have to get comfortable rolling with the punches.
Yeah.
When you drop a word or mess up a tense, you can't freeze up and apologize. You just adapt in real time and keep the conversation moving.
Yes. Letting go of the need to sound perfect is really the only way the brain can relax enough to let the communication actually flow.
This connects directly to a deep dive we did a few weeks ago about why we sometimes feel like a completely different person when speaking a second language.
Oh, right. I remember that one.
Yeah, the exhaustion comes from trying to be a perfect version of yourself rather than an authentic one. Allowing yourself to sound human is the secret to sounding fluent.
And that totally reframes the entire goal of language learning, doesn't it?
It really does.
Yeah.
Which leaves us with this final thought. Maybe native speakers don't sound confident because they speak perfectly. Maybe they sound confident precisely because they're not afraid of sounding imperfect.
Oh, that is definitely something to chew on the next time you catch yourself pausing to find the right word.
For sure.
Ah.
Well, thanks for joining this deep dive, and we'll catch you next time.